Hello, people. This is Lee Cole 3 with my partner, James James Proctor. I'm sorry, James.
No, it's okay. How are you doing today, Lee?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Hey, not bad, not bad.
Well, we're gonna have a, something. We were gonna try to lay off the Dominic Cicale thing,
Mm-hmm.
but he just did a show and he said a bunch of things that really have to be pulled into question.
Right.
First of all, why do you think it is that Dominic Cicale is still attacking? I mean, he's still attacking the guy that he called his friend.
Well, it's obviously he's angry with him. He just continues to bring up, saying a couple, keeps on bringing up the two times that Vinny supposedly had mentioned that he was a capo on the street, and so there's a lot of anger there that Dominic Cicale has. But then what's ironic to me is that he keeps on saying, well, he was my brother, I loved him, and we loved each other so much. And so it's just just seems very interesting. He's talking out of both sides
Well,
of the mouth.
this man doesn't realize you're home, dude.
Hmm.
Shut up about Vinny Basciano already. He's in
Yeah.
prison for the rest of his life. You did your job. You
Yep.
ratted him out. You did your job.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were hired. You were a hired gun along with another guy, and you put Vinny away. So why go after him? I mean, what are you accomplishing by going after? Now it's at the point that you're doing it just for content for your show. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah. That's my same opinion.
And then today, a couple days ago, he brings John Jr. into this,
Yep.
and it gets more and more interesting because he doesn't know as much about John Jr. as, let's say, I know, or the people around John Jr. I may know that he does not know,
Right.
and I can call him out on some of the things he's saying.
Yep.
Now we know one thing: Dominic Cicale testified against John Gotti Jr. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that was on the fourth trial, the same one that was with John A. Light.
With John A. Light. So
Hmm.
anybody's going to look like a great witness if John A. Light's on the trial with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take much. But I'm going to read real quick what Cicale said at that trial. Then we're going to get back to some of the things that he said his last show.
Yep.
And you know something, and this is what we talk about. People, when these guys say stuff, unfortunately, people on here believe it right away. But all you got to
Hmm.
do is go back and look at the paperwork, find where they said stuff that they're not saying now.
Right.
When we do that, James, we have a lot of luck, don't we? Especially with
Yeah.
Sammy Gravano.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it seems like he's using the Sammy Gravano game plan right now. He's basically using the game plan as attack the person that you sent to prison for the rest of their life.
Yeah, and that's my biggest problem with informants is when they do that, when they continue to talk bad about the people they put away. Just like you said, he already did his job. He joined Team USA. He put him in prison, and he's going to be there for the rest of his life. Benny Gorgeous doesn't look like he'll have a chance of getting out ever.
And that's absolutely right. And okay, so we're going to talk about John Jr. was conferring with Vinny Basciano. First of all, we know how well did John Jr. know Vinny Basciano?
Yeah, so what I did, I went through, I know you have your sources, so I just went to the book that John Jr. wrote, which is Shadow of My Father, and so he talks about it. He actually talked about meeting Vinny Basciano. They had they didn't know each other very well. They had respect for each other on the street. They knew of each other. In fact, uh, probably about 5 years previously, in the late '90s, they had been together in MDC, and so they knew each other, but they just had
They
a
did, but
couple of
they didn't,
conversations.
and they did not know. Okay, here's what happened in NBC.
Yeah,
Okay, the first time John met uh, Vinny was in a holding cell for something else. This was even before
exactly.
Holly even was around.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and then they met again when they were both locked up, and they were put 4 cells away. And they
Exactly.
were glad to meet each other, and they were
Hmm.
talking.
Hmm.
But then the guards came in and told them to stop talking. And the
Yeah.
following morning, they came out and they removed Dominic I'm sorry, not Dominic. They
Vinny
removed,
Gorgeous.
they removed Vinny from the cell.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how long they were together.
Yeah, exactly. And then later they, I believe there was two different times that they were together, but in that while both of them were awaiting trial. And so, like you said, that first time, they were
They were in
together in
no
the
cells together. They were in
Mhm.
no cafeteria together.
Right,
They were
right.
not even. They were locked up in confinement.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And then they met once in a changing area or something.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
what happened. But then nothing about strategy was spoken about. Nothing was mentioned in Shadow of My Father about them talking strategy. Um, so it's just not what was stated by Cicale on his video.
Yeah, and let's read what Cicale said. This is the testimony Cicale gave to give you an idea what type of person Cicale was. He testified at the John Gotti Jr. trial. Never dealt with him at all.
Right.
But that's what these informants do. They go where the government tells them to go, and what they have to say. Who knows whether it's true or not? But we're just going to show you what Cicale said here at the trial and what he said on his video. And this is where you could take apart his story. Okay. Cicale was the second witness in 2 days that testified at Gambino family heir. Gotti and Cicale's boss, Bonanno family, Vinny Gorgeous, consulted while they were in jail in 2005 and devised a plan to admit that they had been part of the mob but deny recent criminal activity. In 4 racketeering trials since 2005, Gotti of Oyster Bay has claimed that he withdrew from the mob in 1999. The statute of limitations on racketeering is 5 years, and in the 3 previous trials, the defense was helped produce hung juries. Cicale, 42, a gangster from the Bronx who admitted to 3 murders, was dressed in a conservative suit and regaled jurors with detailed descriptions of his tattoos, including a panther on his chest, a devil with an axe on one arm, and an executioner saying who's next on the other, a grim reaper and a machine gun with a silencer. Here's a guy that really wants people to think he's the badass.
Yep.
After hearing from Basciano that Gotti was going to claim that he quit the life, Cicale said he consulted the leaders of the Gambinos, the Genovese, and Colombo families who were jailed with him in Brooklyn. So pretty much Dominic Cicale was conferring with family heads in prison.
That's what it says.
Was it like a big meeting room or something? I mean,
Yeah.
like they make it. He makes it sound like it was the commission in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, so it says none vetoed the plan, Cicale said, but 6 years after Gotti now claims he had quit, no one else in the organized crime seemed to know about it. They weren't aware of it, Cicale testified. I was making them aware of it. Well, for a guy that doesn't like to rat, now he's in ratting out. This is not even a case that he's admitting that he's running around telling people stuff. The more that you hear about Cicale, you got to listen to him. Listen, there's no doubt the guy was a tough guy.
Yeah.
But right now, what he's doing is he's attacking and he's making things up about John Jr. conferring with Vinny Basciano. They didn't have the same lawyer. Basciano claims to have. I'm sorry, not Basciano. I'm sorry. Okay, so Dominic claims to have the same lawyer as John Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe they did. That's Lippman, and we all know that he was a lawyer for Gotti. But that had to be sued because Lippman will not be a lawyer for a rat. That we do know. So it had.
We do know that. Yeah.
We do know that he flipped before. He may have been a lawyer before he flipped. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, once he flipped, then he's with the Team USA, and then he had a different attorney.
And Gotti Jr. had altogether 5 trials. The first trial was with Michael Yanati and Louis Mariani,
Mm-hmm.
and that was for the Sliwa murder and some other stuff. After that, Gotti was on all those trials all by himself. Gotti was on no trial with Vinny Basciano. None.
No.
Okay, so he went in there and he said something, but then on this video that he just did, he says that he was part of that Vinny said that Vinny Basciano said to him, "I want you to go there and testify that you are a captain, but you're no longer part of the mafia."
Right. Well, it was saying that just say that he is a captain, but say that he's not committing any crimes, and so to me that just doesn't seem. If you look at Vinny, that he's old school when it comes to a person in that life. I mean, if anyone had an opportunity to flip, it would have been Vinny. Look at everyone around him that flipped. And then for him to say something like that, it really took me by surprise when I heard Dominic say that, because it started making me think. Because if he really did say that, then shame on Vinny. But Vinny, that doesn't that doesn't seem like he would say that.
And we know that then Vinny, he says that Vinny was left in the room alone with him. What's the
Yeah.
odds of that happening? That they would be in a room where they're together and they're
Yeah.
confirmed with their lawyers. Let's say everybody. He says that they got into an argument and everybody said, "Let's get out of here."
Yeah. No way. They're
Basciano
not going
was
to do
left.
that.
It's not going to happen. They would
No.
never leave two people to argue in a room like that. They wouldn't leave two people, period, in a room like that without lawyers in there, without guards in there. Another story that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Not at all.
Okay, so let's see right here. So we know, 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll give you an example. Cicale's on here. He's doing all this stuff. He's talking all this smack about right now. He's talking all this absolute smack about Vinny Gorgeous. And
Yep.
this is one of the things Cicale said to the jury.
Mm-hmm.
He says he was ashamed and remorseful, insisting that he was a different man than the vicious thug charged in 2005 racketeering indictment.
Mm-hmm.
How remorseful do you think Cicale is?
Yeah, I mean, I have my opinion. I don't
What is your
believe.
opinion? That's what I'm asking you for.
Yeah. I don't believe he's remorseful at all.
If he was remorseful, why would he be attacking another man that he ratted
Yeah,
on?
that's
What does that have to do with remorse?
yeah. That's where I'm coming from. Is like, if this guy, if he felt that way and was so ashamed of what he did to his brother, why would he continue to be talking about it? Saying bad things about this man that's already put away. More than 10 years later. That doesn't sound like remorse to me. That sounds like blaming the victim or blaming Vinny for the situation, and that's just not the attitude that someone would take that's remorseful.
And here's the big thing with this whole thing. Now, he said that he did not want to go on the stand and he did not want to testify and do that for Vinny
Yep.
because he would have been looked like as a rat on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, let's explain that rat thing on the street. Was Dominic Cicale already considered a rat on the street?
Yeah, because this was actually back when he got out of prison and met with Bruno and Delicato, met with Vinny Gorgeous the first time. There were questions about Cicale. There were people that thought he was a rat. Most people thought he was. He wasn't. This was right when he got out of prison, but Vinny believed in him. Vinny said, "No, it's not true." It didn't matter that that. In my opinion, just my opinion, I believe the reason he didn't join the Genovese family, which he was close to before going to prison, is that they had questions about him. I don't know that to be a fact, but that's my opinion because that's who he was close to most of his life. But Vinny believed in him, gave him a chance, and seemed like it worked out well for both of them for, at least a couple of years, but then,
And there
you
and there
know,
was and there was banana people on the street. Jackie the Nose, was it?
oh, Mancuso. Yeah.
Yeah. So he
Michael.
didn't. I'm sorry, Michael didn't believe him at
Yeah.
all. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
forget that. I got him mixed up. Okay, so Michael didn't believe him at all.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, went to Vinny and said that he was a rat. Then Vinny would say, "Look, if anybody calls this guy a rat, they're going to have to deal with me." And
Hmm.
here this guy is now saying that Vinny wanted him to act like a rat.
Yeah, and that just doesn't make any sense. And then, you keep on, and then, continuously the excuse is, well, Vinny mentioned my name twice. Once with someone that was known as a rat, and the other one to the boss about a murder. So he uses that excuse continuously for why he was angry with Vinny. And Vinny stood by him, throughout all of this
And
till the
talking
end.
about informants, we're going to get it to little Joey D'Angelo. Okay, now Joey D'Angelo testified against John Gotti
Hmm.
Jr. And
Yep.
but here's what Dominic said about this. He said one of the reasons that Joey became a rat is because uh, John Gotti Jr. wanted him to do the same thing that Vinny wanted him to do. Does that make
Yeah.
any sense?
Yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense. But he had switched sides too, though. I
Yeah.
mean, So I mean, no, it doesn't make any sense.
So he's saying that same reason. Joey D'Angelo, he did not want that John Jr. went to him and told him to do the same thing that Vinny uh, was telling him to do.
All right.
This stuff all seems way too suspicious. I mean, when you really look at it,
Yeah.
all people have to do is break this crap down, and people just go back and read old testimonies of Cicale and some of the things he said.
Yeah. Yeah, and these were two different trials. They have the Vinny's trial was different than the Gotti Jr.'s trials. I just, also the attorneys aren't, they weren't together. Those cases weren't together. So none of that discussion is going to happen with an attorney. I just don't see it. I just don't see any of that happening with the way that Dominic is bringing it up, because he's not going to talk about another case to him.
Then Dominic said that he flinched up against Vinny Basciano, and Vinny
Hmm.
Basciano looked scared
Yeah.
and that Vinny knew that Dominic would whip his butt.
Yeah.
That's not what we hear about Vinny.
Yeah, I mean, both of them were good with their hands. I'll
Yes,
give you that, but you know,
I don't
I
see
don't know
Vinny
about
backing
that.
down.
No,
You
he
know,
didn't back down. Even if he were to get his butt kicked, he would not back down. So, and plus, I don't see Dominic doing that to him. But and he didn't. He didn't. Nothing ever happened. But I don't think that exchange actually happened the way that Dominic mentioned it.
it'd be nice if Dominic can come on here and tell his stories without attacking this man that he put away in prison.
Yeah, I mean that's my biggest problem. I can understand. I mean that whole family, pretty much everyone ratted, and my problem is more of going after the people that were put away. That's where I have a problem with it. I don't see the need to do that unless it's to bring content.
Well,
To
he seems to be using Sammy Gravano's tactics.
yeah,
Attack
use it.
attack
Hmm.
the person that you put away so you
Yep.
can make yourself feel better in your heart.
Yeah, a way
Uh,
to use the airways or use YouTube to exert revenge or vengeance against someone. So,
and you know what?
yeah.
Here's what it comes down to. We don't have enough people on here speaking up for guys like Vinny Basciano. And listen,
Hmm.
I know Vinny Basciano is a gangster, and people are going to say, "Oh, he's a murderer and whatever." I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a man that is talking about a guy who I literally called him like a brother, called
Hmm.
him his thug, his brother.
Yeah.
And it's easy to be talking a bunch of smack on YouTube like this.
Yeah.
Just like Sammy Gravano, all 80 years of him, is always threatening to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I think Dominic's a lot more dangerous than Sammy Gravano,
Oh yeah.
but it's attack the victim.
Well, yeah, and that's where, yeah, that's my biggest issue with it. It's just they're going to continue to do that, and someone that it just bewilders me how a person can say they're so ashamed of what they did, and then continue to talk bad about the brother, his own, someone he called his brother. I just don't understand that. If someone's that remorseful, you wouldn't be doing that. If you were embarrassed or shamed, you wouldn't be talking about this man you put away in such a negative light.
And that's what the informants do. The informants
Yeah.
attack. There's more. I haven't seen Mikey Scars do it, but he's done some questionable stuff himself. But I've seen now most of these guys, like, we've seen him do it. We've seen Aralata do it. We've seen Sammy do it. They attack the victims, the people that they affected the most. They attack them, whether they're dead or in prison. Kind of a real scummy thing to do, I think.
Yeah, it just shows character. It just shows the character of people that do that. That's what it does.
And it's a shame. The guy should come on here and discuss his stories. But you know what it is? He doesn't discuss Vinny Basciano one time. How many times do we hear him in videos blasting Vinny Basciano?
Yeah.
I mean, several videos now.
Yep. Yeah, that's just what he's doing, that's his ammo.
Okay, my man, we're just going to drop this. We dropped give our feelings on this. People, please hit the like, if you want to sub to this channel, we appreciate it. And please hit the reminder bell. Okay. And thank you, James, for being here. And
Yep. Thank you.
take care.